Alrighty guys, we're back for Selesnya Artifacts, and this is a Lost Caverns of Ixalan Standard Brew, and I'm Redcat. Let's go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. Rocking terrific cards in here like Teething Wurmlet. This is a 1 mana 1/1, and it has Death Touch as long as you control 3 or more artifacts, which should be pretty easy in this one. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. And then if it's the first time this ability has resolved this turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on Teething Wurmlet. This card has a huge target on its back, especially when you're up against like mono red and stuff. They really don't want you to gain all that extra life, and that life gain really does go a long way. We have beautiful artifacts to pair with Wurmlet in here, like Gingerbrute, as well as Skrelv Defector Mite. Being able to protect our cards is going to be essential. Yeah, protecting our Wurmlet, for example, or just making it so that way we can slip that last little bit of damage through. Skrelv is going to be a good one in here, man. For our 2 mana cards, we have Patchwork Automaton. This is a 2 mana 1/1 with Ward 2, which always goes that extra mile. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you put a +1/+1 counter on Patchwork Automaton. Beautiful stuff. We also have Agatha's Soul Cauldron as a 1-of in here. So for 2 mana, it's a legendary artifact. You spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate abilities of creatures you control. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Soul Cauldron. Then you can tap this to exile target card from a graveyard. That includes your opponents, of course. When a creature card is exiled this way, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Soul Cauldron's going to be pretty sick, man, and there's going to be every now and then where you exile a Gingerbrute with it, and then all of your other cards with +1/+1 counters, like your Patchwork Automaton or your Wurmlet, for example, have that top Gingerbrute ability for just 1. Gingerbrute can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste. So giving that ability to some of your big old chunky creatures sounds really good, huh? Then we have more cookies in here with Tough Cookie. All 4 of them. 2 mana, 2/2. When it ETBs, you create that food token. And then for 2 and a green, target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 4/4 artifact creature until end of turn. That ability actually isn't half bad. Also has that bottom ability where it's just a food. That's the same thing with Gingerbrute. Bottom ability is just a food. You pay 2, you tap it, sack it, gain 3 life. Honestly, you never know when that extra life gain could go that extra mile, especially like we are seeing so much mono red. We're seeing a lot of soldiers, whether it's mono white or Azorius as well. So a lot of great aggro decks floating about. So, and we also have Ozolith, the Shattered Spire, a 2 mana legendary artifact. And if 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on an artifact or creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters +1 are put onto it instead. It has that bottom ability here for 1 in the green. You can tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control, and it's activate only as a sorcery, unfortunately. But hey, that'll really come in handy. This card also has cycling for 2, so you may pay the cycling cost to discard this card and draw a card. So even though it's legendary, if we do end up seeing multiple of them, at least we can cycle it out. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm opting for Soul Partition as the removal in this one, and this could totally be your removal of choice. However, I do think the deck will be fast enough and powerful enough to put on that pressure before the opponent is able to recast whatever you hit with that Soul Partition anyways. Like, exile target non-land permanent is pretty wild. At this point, I might as well read the rest of the card, right? For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. A spell cast by an opponent this way costs 2 more to cast, so it ends up taxing that card pretty well. And if you end up hitting like Shieldred with this, making Shieldred 6 mana in a deck like this that should technically know how to be slam and damage through, like even if they get to that 6 mana and they spend their entire turn 6 just playing out that Shieldred again, then hopefully you're still squeezing by with your Gingerbrutes or getting through with your Skrelv ability or something, right? So yeah, but this could totally be your removal of choice. We got more removal with Glass Casket. So 2 mana artifact. When it ETBs, exile target creature and opponent controls with mana value 3 or less until Glass Casket leaves the battlefield. Not half bad, guys, and mainly in here because it's that artifact. So you can take a Monastery Swiftspear from the opponent all while buffing your board state. Sounds good to me. In the 3 mana spots, we have 4 Simian Simulacrums. 3 mana, 2/1. When it ETBs, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. And it has that Unearth for 2 and double green. Not bad, dude. Every time I've played with Simian Simulacrum, it has been pretty darn good. That's almost, has it always been an MVP when I play with it? Maybe. I know that the Unearth, like just bringing this back with haste from the grave happens to go a long way against control builds. So see if we can do that today too. We have 3 Kutzil. Kutzil? Malamet Exemplars. Something like that. A 3-mana 3/3 legendary creature. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. That could come in handy. Whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. So with all these ways to give +1/+1 counters in the build, this could be really good card draw every single turn. It does, like, it reads one or more creatures. So if all of your creatures are slamming through, it's only going to be 1 card draw, but still extra card every turn sounds good. We also have a top end here, Clay Champion. We have 3 of them. It's an X and 4. It's a 2/2 artifact creature. When it ETBs, it comes in with 3 +1/+1 counters on it for each double green spent to cast it. Now, when it ETBs, you choose up to 2 other target creatures you control, and for each double white spent to cast it, you put a +1/+1 counter on each of them too. So you can imagine how much this could like buff your board state if you also have Ozolith on the board too. Outside of that, just getting a really chunky Clay Champion on the board if you pay it like all green for it or something. And then, yeah, having that Skrelv ability get through, or maybe you did hit the Soul Cauldron combo with Gingerbrute too. Giving that Gingerbrute ability to a nice chunky Clay Champion just sounds really cool, man. Okay, the mana base, of course, Seat of the Empire, 2 Enders. We got our fast lands with Brushland and the Thicket. We have a couple Restless Prairie because the Restless lands have been going a very long way for me, so I think these will definitely be worth it. Even though we're not really going wide in this build, yeah, I think these are still going to be good. And then we have a single Mirrex as well. Just another way to generate some artifacts could be good too, but it's kind of the same concept with Restless Prairie. Having more ways to win the game in the mana base is not a bad thing. Okay, a ton of honorable mentions, but I'm going to try to go over it really fast. These are all cards that were considered initially for the build, and then for some reason, they didn't make the cut. Well, for a good reason, right? It's really hard to fit every idea into a build sometimes, and this one had a lot of ideas. So Frontliner, nope, not this time. Thought about Glowcap Lantern. Thought about Iron Apprentice. Get Lost. That's like the concept with your choice spot removal for the Soul Partition, right? Thought about Kellen Daring Traveler. Skrelv's Hive almost made the cut. Botanical Brawler for the +1/+1 counter theme. Yotian Dissident could have been cool. Annex Sentry. Sentinel of the Nameless City generating map tokens could be pretty cool. When you're generating these map tokens, it doesn't buff like the Patchwork though, because this is whenever you cast an artifact. Whereas like for Wurmlet, it's whenever an artifact enters the battlefield. So yeah, Sentinel didn't make the cut that time because of the Patchwork Automaton route that I'm going. Rootwire Amalgam almost made the cut, as well as Skullpore Nexus too. So all of these honorable mentions for good reason, man. Just way too many cards to try to pack into a build like this though. Okay, is that everything? Hopefully. Let's go ahead and hop into some ranked, see how we do. Okay, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. For the last video, we got a whole bunch of games in, so there must be a lot of people playing Magic right now. Yeah, I don't think we had any issues finding any games. People are maybe trying to finish up their Mastery Pass. We go first. I think this is a terrific hand, dude. Even though we don't see any of our 1-drops, like, yeah, this feels really good to me. Oh, hey, what you doing over there, opponent? Is this going to be a wild mirror match? It very well might be. I'm going to start with Automaton, of course, before going Glass Casket, because no matter how much they buff that Wurmlet, Glass Casket can pick it up. Unless they give it, like, protection or something. Second Wurmlet. Hopefully it's not like Skrelv or something. It's going to be swooping lookout. Okay. Okay, this is wild, man. This is cool. Yeah, so we're going to have a kind of sort of a mirror match here, I'm assuming. So we could go ahead, Simian Simulacrum, go for the swing that way. Man, that's their turn 2, huh? It's a really good turn 2. We could try to keep up pace, but is that going to be possible? I'm going to go Simian Simulacrum. We are going to go for that Patchwork swing for the turn. They don't have the double block here, so I think they're going down to 17. Because they're definitely thinking, oh, we can outpace this. Wurmlet probably gets the buff above the Simulacrum anyways, so even, like, it'll just turn into a chump instead of a trade. Swooping Lookouts going through in the air. Like, there's a lot of issues here. Like, maybe I should have kept this blocker back, but they could be one turn away from giving these Death Touch anyways, so. Spectrum Sentinel. Gingerbrute. Bro! Yeah, they gave it Death Touch anyways. We're gonna probably have to chump here. Oh, I was gonna say, I'll trade into the Gingerbrute instead and take some extra damage. They're holding some back. I will end up chumping for the turn, because there's no guarantee that we'll get a better block in the future. Okay, Restless Prairie, I don't mind seeing the 4th land here at all. However... Oh, wow, the Sentinel gains them 1 life. Crap. Alright, well, I'm going to take out Wurmlet that's untapped. Yeah, our hand's a little bit awkward. We didn't see any of our 1-drops, but the opponent has only seen 1-drops. And now we have that swing again. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough, man. I think, yeah, they take it down to 17. So whenever a non-basic land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain 1 life. Wait, where else did they gain life here? Oh, the Wurmlet, yeah. The Wurmlet's just spamming them a whole bunch of life. Well, right now, hey, it is 17 to 17. They have a terrific swing, though. Steel Seraph. Oh, buddy, that should have been in the honorable mentions too, right? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. This was wild, man. First game mirror match, and the opponent's list is looking really cool, and it actually has a bunch of cards that I didn't have in the list or in the honorable mentions. So Clay Champion, all green, but then they just continuously fly in the air. The draw on this, yeah, very, very slow. There's one of our 1-drops, guys. That's really funny. So they're gonna be flying in the air for a whole bunch. Okay, second Simian Simulacrum. Do we just buff the Automaton and swing and they probably take it? If they trade with Wurmlet, that's actually really good for us. But then, I mean, we do lose a lot of counter progress on the Patchwork. Okay. I'm going for it. I think we're, like, super dead anyways. I think they just take this 8. Oh, they do end up trading. It's not a bad trade, I suppose, right? Because now they're not getting another chunky thing in the air to fly through, which I thought that's what they were going to be doing. Simian Simulacrum. They can buff, like, Gingerbrute, for example. Okay, they go on to Steel Seraph. They go ahead, maybe just give this Vigilance and play the long game. They go Lifelink, actually. Yeah, I guess they have enough blockers on the ground anyways. Skrelv. I think we saw everything in a very awkward order here, man. Okay. Well, we can start with that. Buff the Wurmlet. Clay Champion could be pretty cool too, I guess, because we could go double green, double white, and then buff the 2 creatures that we had on the board. But either way, we're dead to the air damage here anyways, so we can swing with Wurmlet, see if it goes through, and then we get the draw on the Kutzil, just to see what's on the top at this point. Pretty cool that we saw the mirror match. Oh, they go for the double block. I guess why not at that point? And then they have 6 in the air. Good game, opponent. Very good. a lot of cards here that should have at least been in the honorable mention. Swooping Lookout is freaking sick, dude. See, they opted for the Get Lost. That does make sense. There could be a situation where you actually target your own things too, get some map tokens, and then gain some life off of like a Teething Wurmlet or something. That's all very possible. Yeah, we'll see if we end up talking more about Get Lost as it was in the honorable mentions. I don't think so though. I do like the Soul Partition edition, but we'll see how much it actually does too. It is only a one of. All right, let's get into the next one, and hopefully it's not another mirror match, although if it is, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind coming out on top in a mirror match either. That's a little bit silly though. We like never see Selesnya artifacts. Something else, man. All right. Finding the next opponent here. 15 seconds that time. That's what I get for saying we haven't had any issues. Yeah, like all day, and for the last couple weeks too, it's taken like maybe 3 seconds maximum. It feels like there's a lot of people playing. Wurmlet, yep. This is a much faster hand. This is the hand where we would have been able to compete with that last one. Like for real, dude. This is so good. Holy cow. And we have a healthy chunk of 1-drops in here too, so this isn't like an unheard of line of play. They call Phyrexian. Okay, that could be an issue. Glass Casket. Don't mind that. Is it going to be Patchwork for the turn though, or maybe Ozolith? I think Ozolith, getting set up here with Ozolith is pretty wild, because Wurmlets get double buffed. We'll swing, because if they block like Gingerbrute, this is 8 going through. And if we only swung with the 4/4s and they chumped one of the 4/4s, that's a lot less damage, so... Either way, their 3-drop's going to be picked up by our Glass Casket, so they really want just removal here. Oh, it could be a 4-drop. Scrap Gorger helps them ramp. So if it's Sheoldred, we might have an issue. We could still go Glass Casket, pick up their Scrap Gorger. They block one of the Wurmlets, which would trade because of the Death Touch from Sheoldred. It'd be Vran, and then they still have 2, so they might be going wide here. A Bushwhack, actually. Okay. So keep Scrap Gorger as a blocker. Okay, well. Ozolith. So Glass Casket, pick up Vran. No, we pick up Scrap Gorger probably, right? Additionally, we could try to draw off of the Kutzil here. But buffing the Wurmlets just seems a little better. We could also go Automaton. Go wide instead. See if they block wide. They might. I'm just going to take that ramp away from them. How do you guys feel about that? The draw may very well be the better choice, but I don't know. Something about that Scrap Gorger makes me want to take it off the board. And, like, they're going to be forced to block with the Vran anyways. Because they can't take 12. Potentially just... yeah. Let's see what they end up doing here. Because we got rid of their board. And now, even if it is going to be Sheoldred or something else. Yeah, we just... yeah, hey, good game, opponent. Good game, buddy. We just completely outpaced some Phyrexians. That felt good. The whole time I was like, oh yeah, we got to be prepared when the Sheoldred drops. What's like the best course of action to like keep their board empty so that way we squeeze by the Sheoldred regardless. And they didn't even have the Sheoldred, luckily. See, they didn't have the 4th mana there too, so taking Scrap Gorger ended up being a good choice as well. Nice. That was sick, man. That's exactly what the deck was supposed to be doing. All right, now we'll see if we can get right into the next one. I'm excited to see what the opponents are bringing to the table. I'm seeing just such a beautiful variety of powerful decks. I've been quite enjoying how Standard has been. Interested to see how much the new set's going to shake it up as well. For the last couple days... okay, let's see. Okay. This is probably keepable. Without a white source, though, we may, or, well, on it goes first, so we do draw. Okay, let's keep it. Yeah, for the last couple of days of videos, I wanted to choose decks that I thought weren't actually going to be changed up too much. All right, I'll try. Well, all right, I'll try Wurmlet, yeah. Nice. Okay, it was not a play with fire. See if Wurmlet sticks on the board here a little bit longer. Feldon, okay. No blocks. Glass Casket does pick up the Feldon, which I think we let them keep for now, right? We go Forest, Automaton, because Automaton's really good against mono red. Yeah, so yesterday's video was Clerics. I don't think Clerics is going to change too much from the new set. It very well might. I'm not 100% certain. But then today's video for Selesnya Artifacts, I also feel like this isn't going to change too much from the new set, so. Good swings from the opponent. We're going to take it. Wurmlet's gaining us life too. Okay, so we found the white source outside of the Mirrex. So we'll play that. Well, I guess it could have been Mirrex too, to make sure next turn we had Mirrex open. Well, what am I saying? You can do that regard. Wait, yeah. What am I saying? Glass Casket, we should take the Squee. We do all this before combat because it heavily affects this combat. Take the Squee. That's better than taking Feldon, right? Gingerbrute. Buff on up. Full swing for 7. I do think we can outpace mono red here. So let's keep the ball rolling. Yeah, we could do Mirrex, double white for Clay Champion, double green. They go Invasion. They pick up the Gingerbrute, unfortunately. They might want to save. Yeah, they do save the blocker back. So it's going to be Clay Champion, because that's just like, they're going to be heavily relying on burn for the last bit of the game, which they might get there. Invasion of Agatha can be rough, to say the least. Mirrex, let's go white source. White source, green source, green source. Clay Champion. X is 0, confirm 0. Patchwork buff. Wurmlet buff, gain some life. Target up to 2. 1, 2. Jeez, bro. GG opponent. GG, buddy. Holy cow. Holy cow. Those lines, huh? Jeez, man. All right. So we don't know what was in the opponent's hand. I guess, like, yeah, they were going to block down to 6. If they had Mountain and, like, yeah, 2 Lightning Strikes wasn't going to do it because Clay Champion was still going to be able to block one of their swings too. We gained enough life there for sure. Good stuff, dude. Really good stuff. Only 23 minutes in too, so hopefully time for quite a few more matches. Let's keep the ball rolling. Let me know in the comments what you're most excited for from the new set too. I already got some deck lists planned. And the day that this video is going up should be the day before set release, because the Clerics should be Sunday's video, and then Selesnya Artifact should be Monday's video, and then the set should be releasing on Tuesday, so yeah. Opponent goes first. I think we keep this. Glass Casket, if they're going first with aggro, Glass Casket's just so good. Oh, Embereth Veteran, nice. Love that card, dude. They swing. Foundry. Nothing. Huh. Okay, well, I'm going to go Automaton. The Ward 2 is really just so good. It really is. Like, you can confidently play that on turn 2 and say, okay, at least it survives a couple turns, you know? Ooh, right into the Godric. We're going to take it. Automaton should be able to get around this relatively easily. No mana's pretty bad. Automaton number 2, risk it all? No, we should that's too risky. We should Glass Casket the Godric. Do we keep Automaton back or do we try to outpace them? Without the third mana here, if we played Gingerbrute for the turn, I'd try to outpace, but only doing that one thing. Yeah, they have Foundry too. Okay, I don't plan on blocking with Automaton's the problem. The only reason we'd be keeping it back is emergency if like we think we're actually going to just take 13 damage. Okay, down to 8. Yep. Okay, there we go. Third mana. We should Glass Casket the other Godric for sure. I will start with Gingerbrute for no particular reason. And then we'll go Godric. Or pick up the Godric, I mean to say, of course. The Play with Fire could, like, pick up the Brute pretty easily. At this point, now we keep the Patchwork Automaton back for blocking, right? Swing with Gingerbrute? Keep Gingerbrute back as an emergency blocker? Nah. Let's keep risking it. We're gonna try to... It's not much pressure, but it's still something. Squeeze, nice. Beldon, holy cow, dude. Full swing, why not, right? Yeah, dude, we're in trouble. They could just lightning strike our face next turn, so a little bit of life gain could go a long way. Gotta take the squeeze out of the equation. If we kept Gingerbrute back, we could have blocked the veteran and saved 2. Oh, hey, Teething Wurmlet. That was a good draw. That was a really good draw, dude. Holy cow. Right into Tough Cookie because that's 2 artifacts entering, so that's 2 life gain. Does have Death Touch there. Mishra's Foundry. We're at 5. Squee is not coming back next turn. What's in hand, guys? What do you suppose is in their hand? I suppose we gotta hold back, right? But if we hold back... Let's continue risking it. Let's continue. Yeah, down to 12. Because there's a chance that they full swing with Foundry and everything. Well, nah, that's really risky. Really risky. If we held back for a turn... Oh, Godric. That's the 3rd Godric, guys. Dude. GG opponent. It wouldn't have mattered if we held back. The Embereth Veteran really doing a beautiful thing there. Took all 5 of their mana, but that was excellent stuff, dude. Very cool. Very cool. I loved that. So the 3rd Godric, I'll tell you what, I bet they had all 4 of them in here. This very well just might be mono red Godric, right? Because some of them do run all 4. Cool stuff, man. The games have been really fast. We had a great chance there too, right? If they didn't see that Godric, they would have still been struggling to get that extra last bit of damage through. In a full swing, we would have been able to take out some of their key players. Maybe they would have had enough for burn open in hand too, but sometimes you gotta take that gamble. Great matches so far, dude. Very satisfied with how this is playing out. Opponent goes first. A lot of mana, but we have like everything we need. Oh no. Well, always keep an eye down down at the bottom of the video. There's chapters. And then we also have timestamps in the description as well. When we do this, I'll put like sample hand, test hand, or opponent concedes early, whichever one I actually remember to put up. But yeah, we don't get too many sample hands. I mean, first of all, turn 1 Wurmlet, turn 2 Patchwork, turn 3 Simian Simulacrum, and then hopefully not drawing land for a little while there. We had a terrific line of play. So far, I think all the hands have been pretty solid, huh? It seems like the curve is doing the curve thing. It's curving out very nicely. Now, 29 minutes in, totally time for, like, at this rate, 3 more matches. Maybe we'll end up getting into a slow match, though. Ooh, that's a lot of mana, too. Okay, a little bit less of a curvy hand, but I still don't think this is bad. We go first. Hopefully we don't see mana for a little while. Plus, like, turn 1 Wurmlet into turn 2 Ozolith is kind of insane, but we might actually go turn 2 Patchwork That way we keep something on the board too. Oh, buddy. Okay, yeah. Let's go turn 2 Patchwork. It does affect combat, so we do that beforehand. Oh, buddy. The Skrelv draw was really good. This could be a wickedly fast game. Gain 1. Okay, Wurmlet is out of the equation. Lay down arms. Okay. It's not going to be as fast as I was hoping, but we're still gonna try our dandiest. The Kutzil gonna help us restock this hand, hopefully. And then the Ward 2 on Automaton is hopefully gonna be beautiful here as well. The tap land, so they can't hit that Ward 2 on the Automaton with anything right now. So it would be a Skrelv removal anyways. And if it is, then yeah, our Exemplar comes down. It's gonna be Companion. Go ahead and get a chump blocker down instead. More mana. You don't like to see it, but at least we're gonna get extra draw. Well, no we're not, because it actually has to get through. So the Companion's gonna chump. Unless we go Skrelv, get through that way. Which I don't want to do, I would say. We want to keep Skrelv as protection. We have the 1 white source open. Yeah, Skrelv as protection over Skrelv as a means of getting 4 damage through and drawing seems a little bit better, right? Just protecting this board state. The worst case scenario, I guess, would be a board wipe, which is very possible, huh? Yeah, I guess they could go untap source to populate, which would be really bad, because this does not give indestructible or anything fancy. It's just hexproof from a color. Okay, it's a tap source. It's going to be Wedding Announcement. I feel like this is definitely the board wipe style of deck. We should be scared, I think. I think we should be. We're going to... Yeah, they get the chump blocker. Clay Champion. Do we go for the Clay Champion? Do we, like... What do we do? What on earth do we do, man? We could buff with Ozolith instead. Keep Clay Champion back in case there is that board wipe. Keep Skrelv back in case it's just... Okay, I'm going to keep it back in hand. We're going to go Ozolith. We're going to buff this. Pretty good. Yeah, we would have buffed the Patchwork and everything, but if we're going right into a board wipe, then that's a no-go, you know? We want to keep Skrelv back in case it is just spot removal. We might be playing around a ghost. Yep, I'm just going to keep everything back, guys. We'll see if it actually ends up working out. Because, yeah, right into Sunfall to populate. Yeah, Sunfall, dude. That's rough business. Because now we got to figure out our best way to reestablish. And it's going to start with a tough cookie swing. Make sure their 1/1s stay off the board, probably. Teething Wurmlet's pretty good. So I was thinking tough cookie, pay 3, swing with Ozolith. The swing, they block. But now I'm thinking Wurmlet, tough cookie, Ozolith ability. Right? And this Ozolith ability is only as a sorcery. How you guys feel about that? We restocked pretty nicely overall after Sunfall taking out 3 of our creatures. If they didn't have a chump blocker, I think it would have just been tough cookie, power up, well, food, right? And not the Ozolith. Power up the food, swing for 4. I'm back up to 12 here. They've gained only 2 so far from this list. Ossification, probably. Oh, they go Wurmlet. Okay. Keeping Tough Cookie around is actually not bad for us, man. Power up the 3/3. They go for the swing? Oh, they back off on the swing. Okay, I was wondering what was going on there. Glass Casket, pick up the 4/4. Clay Champion, that's still pretty good, isn't it? I think it's going to be Glass Casket, though, and then we still have the Ozolith ability. And the, I guess we go Tough Cookie, actually. So Glass Casket, pick up the 4/4. Tough Cookie. power up the Glass Casket. That's actually pretty sick. Let's do it. I want to swing with a Glass Casket, darn it. Oh, summoning sickness. Oh no. I just passed out from my play. That's it. That's it. I have to retire, guys. Yeah, I know. Oops. I was just trying to have fun and swing with the Glass Casket. Hey, the double block actually isn't too bad for us, right? Except now we don't have a creature next turn, but... Dude, alright, so we could have got 4 through there. Well, they could have split the blocks too, but then we still would have had a tough cookie. Bro, I can't believe I did that. Oh, Eternal Wanderer. I think this was going to start heavily leaning towards the opponent anyways, huh? I think so. I think so. Gingerbrute, and then all green on the Clay Champion, right? X is 0, confirm 0, 4 green. We could have put like some extra, we could have went double white, put 1 counter on the Gingerbrute, which would have been 2 because of the Ozolith. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I know the Ozolith ability needs to start powering up the Gingerbrute that way too. Ossification for the Clay Champion. Crap. They might as well start swinging with this too, because they can generate another one quite successfully.
Keep your eyes sharp.
So some control. The Sunfall hit right on time, unfortunately. Tough business, man. Tough business. I can't believe I did that with the Glass Casket. Hopefully we don't like end up losing by 4. Like, hopefully we don't get them down to 4. But again, they could have split the blocks, but then we'd still have tough cookie too. So yeah, that really depends. Really depends. I can't believe I did that with the Glass Casket. Okay. So Gingerbrute can't be blocked. Do we just go Eternal Wanderer? Do we just go face? I mean, this is a problem regardless. Their double strike's gonna win anyway. I guess we just go face, right? I guess it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, if they split the blocks there, they'd still be at 9. If they went all into tough cookie and we got 4 through, they'd be at 5. I am keeping an eye on that little misplay there, just to see exactly what ends up happening. I'll probably end up using the food this turn. Oh, lay down arms. Okay, well, I guess we can, well, we can't tap it, actually. Never mind. We already swung with it. Vicious Farmhand. All right, let's go ahead and activate this food. While we have the open mana, we might as well. Yeah, either way, the double strikes, we're going to start winning them the game in these upcoming turns anyways. And then swinging that Eternal Wanderer was also, like, if we swung there, we would have been assuming that the Gingerbrute was staying alive to swing there next turn too. Like, all that's pretty important. Let's see. So we could power up. They have the block with the 3/3. Ozolith. All right, let's power up just because I want to swing with a Glass Casket, darn it. And I'll just swing it face and they can easily take this 4. Well, they go ahead and decide to trade with the Glass Casket, actually. I guess it's better to play it safe. As far as from a control player's standpoint goes, wow, another lay down arms for that full swing. That is their 3rd lay down arms. We've gained 9 life from the opponent, guys. That's pretty wild, huh? We actually have Mirrex, and we'd want to do this on our turn because Ozolith is a sorcery. Good game, opponent. Good game. 39 minutes in. We definitely have time for one more. Let's see if we can bring this deck from a 50% win rate back up to whatever that win rate would be. With one more victory, right? Let's see if we can bring it above the 50% is what I'm getting at. That Glass Casket swing. Luckily, we didn't get like super punished and lose because of that. We lost because control did the control thing. Playing around that first Sunfall, it felt good to play around it, but the 3-for-1 was just way too much value pushed on the opponent's side. So we would have had to somehow win or have protection before they got their 5th mana available. Okay. A great hand, right? Well, we don't have a guaranteed turn 2, but that's fine because we have Gingerbrute. Yeah, I like this. So we start with Brushland, pay the 1 for the Wurmlet. We get set up that way. That's more damage too that way as well. So Gingerbrute has that haste. And we'll plug that counter onto the Wurmlet. Ooh, 2nd Wurmlet actually. Do I do that instead? I guess we start with the swing then. I think 2nd Wurmlet's a little better here. Because Ozolith can come down next turn then, and then that's a beautiful swing. Dinosaur, all right. Ironcrag, dude. The opponent's given us some time. Patchwork. Let's use that time to set up. And once Ozolith comes down and doubles the counters on the Patchwork too, our triple creature setup here is just disgusting, man. Okay, 3rd mana's attack mana. Luckily, they don't have like Brotherhood's End available because Cavern doesn't tap for red, and neither does the Ironcrag too. This could be a wild turn, especially if we see mana off the top. If we see open mana off the top, go Ozolith into, okay, it's actually just a Simian Simulacrum, which is still pretty good. But I was imagining if we actually saw the mana. So one of these Wurmlets is probably going to get picked up by a Go for the Throat or something. My assumption is this is Rakdos Control, and the Dinosaur Call was for Etali. That's what I'm thinking, especially with the Proving Ground too. That's also probably for the Etali. So Patchwork's ability here is actually pretty huge for us. The Ward, of course. The Ward is always really good. Every single time we play with Patchwork, it's so good, dude. Go for the Throat. Yep. Okay. Luckily, we got that life gain and everything, too. Down to 9. The opponent needs something terrific here. So a board wipe, I suppose. They do have the double red now. Especially now that Proving Ground's untapped, too. So it can't be a Brotherhood's End because Wurmlet survives then. Oh, they might have more removal for the Wurmlet, actually. Oh, they go for artifacts to remove the Ozolith. That was really good, opponent. That actually keeps them in this. That keeps them in this really nicely, because now we don't have like double counters off of Ozolith, and that would have potentially just taken them out. Yeah, Brotherhood's End, hit artifacts. I always forget about that bottom ability on the Brotherhood's End. We gotta just go, man. We gotta go before they control us too. So we're going all in on this Wurmlet. Hopefully it's not. It's not a go for the throat. They're down to 2. We can do this, guys, especially with the haste on the Gingerbrute. Getting there against some Rakdos control could be huge, man. That would be a huge props to the deck. GG opponent. Let's go, guys. All right. There it is, 57%. Not bad, not bad. 7 matches. It did pretty good, and some of those losses actually felt a little bit unlucky for us too. So, yeah, I think the deck is actually relatively solid. What do you guys think? Go ahead, go over the list one more time here, about 44 minutes in. That's a good spot to leave off. That's a super high note coming out on top against Rakdos Control, even though it looked like they had a relatively slow start. Every now and then Rakdos Control does have that slow start, so that's the time to push that damage through. Here's the deck list again, guys. Soul Partition, only the one of we didn't actually see. Again, your removal of choice, totally fine. You want that Get Lost just in case you need a way to put more artifacts onto your board, that's fine. Your removal of choice could also be like Fateful Absence. It's the same concept. You're just not going to be hitting your creatures too often with those anyway, so I was opting for more of a tempo play with Soul Partition, especially since I liked the Soul Partition in yesterday's build too. Play Champion felt good, but I think I'd drop it down to 2 instead of 3. And I would potentially go up another Soul Partition. I think you're just not going to be upset when you see more removal. However, if you get rid of one of the artifacts and go up one of the non-artifacts, every now and then that is going to ruin some of the synergies in the build where you're just like, oh man, I just need to play one artifact to win, but all I'm seeing are these Soul Partitions. And like that definitely happens if you're not careful, right? So outside of that, yeah, the non-artifact cards, Teething Wurmlet, of course, but that is an absolute MVP in the build, a necessity for it. And then also the Kutzil Malamet Exemplar. One day I'll pronounce that correctly, maybe. But I could also see dropping down to 2 of these too. Surprisingly, the card draw actually wasn't important. We were just more focused on getting that damage through early on and effectively keeping our creatures on the board to continuously plug that damage through on turn 4, on turn 5, and that's at that point, like that's when the opponent is sweating enough anyways, and we actually didn't need to push it into the mid game to draw more. So right now the deck did well enough to not change anything, I would say. However, the things that I would potentially change is dropping the Exemplar down to 2, dropping the Clay Champion down to 2, and going up whatever your version of the meta needs, right? So like there's particular things. So for example, if you're just seeing mono red every other game and then soldiers on every other game after the mono red, then that 4th Glass Casket is actually probably going to be pretty good, right? Because it would just hit everything that you're seeing. So going up a 4th one of those would be excellent. And some of the honorable mentions, like we had so many over here, right? So the Phyrexian 3-drop that also just acts as a Glass Casket, but is a creature, right? That could be pretty good. Anything else? Yeah, like I said, another Soul Partition, or if you do drop the Exemplar and the Clay Champion, then you have room for 2 more pieces of removal. And again, all those could be removal of your choice for sure. Just make sure it's matching the mana base, or you're matching the mana base to it as well. Just keep an eye on that too, because we are leaning a little bit towards the green here, which makes sense, I would say. Didn't get to power up the Restless Prairie. The only thing it actually did today was come out tapped, which didn't hold us up overall. Actually liked having the one of Mirrex too. So that's another potential thing. If you don't have the Restless Prairie, or you just don't like it in this particular build, I guess you could drop it. I would make sure you go up some fast lands though, but at this point, with all the other fast lands, I suppose it's going to be the Overgrown Farmland, right? Which is not a fast land, but in this deck, we do want to get to our 3rd mana. Which, speaking of which, 23 land felt pretty good. I wouldn't go up any, I wouldn't go down any. It felt decent today, man. All right, guys. If you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. Make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. All right, yeah, no, what would you guys add or take out? Let me know in the comments for sure. Oh, we didn't get to see Soul Cauldron today, did we? Oh man, next time. Yeah, I feel like the one of this should be kept in the build as well. Although since we didn't see it today and the deck still performed, I suppose it's not necessary. So I suppose, yeah, you could go up something else. Some other necessary cards. The Ozolith felt really good, but since it is legendary, I wouldn't go up to 4 of them for sure. I think the 3 is right where we want that. And the Simian Simulacrum could have been really good against that control build as well, especially with that Unearth ability, but didn't get to see it there, did we? Would have been a little bit slow sometimes in that match as well. Okay, hey, anyways, guys, next time we play some games or upload a video, it'll be the new set, which sounds awesome, man. So I will see y'all in the next video.